Hi, welcome to Chrissie Crafts. I'm Chrissie. Come and see what's on my hook, what's in my hoop, and what's happening at home. So I'd like to say a big welcome to new subscribers and new followers. Hello. And a big thanks to everyone for the support last week with my very exhausted and slightly hungover video from too much busyness and partying the previous weekend. But I'm well rested, I don't need sunglasses this time, and I've made some progress on some things, so let's get to it. What's on my hook? I was feeling a bit sorry for myself because I couldn't go up to Edinburgh for the Yarn Festival, so I did a little bit of retail therapy and I bought 2 skeins of the gorgeous stranded Dyeworks Nougat colorway. Look at that. Ooh, it's sunshine. It's springtime in yarn form. I have the hooks in them because they're on the wall of Yarn Love behind me, keeping me happy. This is Superwash Merino Nylon fingering weight. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it certainly made me happy when I was looking at all the Instagram pictures of everyone in Edinburgh. So that kept me going. It's just juicy. I think there's a theme, because if you see those ones up that I bought up at Unravel from Hillview Farm, those are juicy colors as well. I think I'm in the mood for some spring and summer. I think this winter's just, I'm over it. I need some juicy warm colors. The other happy thing that came in the post was I was one of the ones who nabbed a copy in the pre-order of the Shawl Project, the latest book by the gorgeous Crochet Project girls, Joanne Scrace and Kat Golden. I have all their other books because I'm a bit of a fangirl. These ones use, nice light, these ones use mini skeins in different colors, different packs of colors. You could see little color gradations along with the main color. Look at that. So I hope to make one or 2 or all of them. I am making progress on the Mist Kingfisher shawl from their Shawl Project Book 2. It's that one. Gorgeous stripy Mist Kingfisher, except for mine is pink and brown. Oh, look at that yarn. I love the mottled look. I love the different shades of pink that you get from it. This is Eden Cottage Yarns. Give the details below. It's a 4-ply. And this has a gorgeous texture. That's the back of it. It's a gorgeous texture because you work in the back loops only, so it's ridged. Lots of nice ridges. There. I am so loving this. And I am going really slow with it, only because, as you all know, I've been distracted and had other things on. But now I'm finally into the big color block section with the pink. Except for mine doesn't look like a kingfisher. It looks like a cupcake. Look. Cupcake with pink frosting. There, the Mist Cupcake shawl. I finally got started with the Crochet Circle podcast's Tunisian Crochet Along. I haven't got very far. But hey, it's a start. I started. I'm hooking up the next row. This is again Eden Cottage Yarns. I'll write down the details of that one as well. I can't remember. It's a bit fiddly, I'll be honest with you. Probably because I'm using like a fine 4-ply sock yarn. If I was smart, I would probably use a DK to start off with. If I find it any trickier as I get along, maybe I'll start it again just with the DK yarn just to get used to it and a bigger hook. I think what I find fiddly is I am new to it and I don't know what I'm doing. And thank goodness for the fantastic instructions for the Cobbled Street Cowl. There are loads of pictures. There are loads of well-written instructions to get me through the first few rows. I always find lots of projects tricky anyway and fiddly at the beginning because you're working into chains and it's, new technique. So I think all of those things combined, the fine yarn, the new technique, the first few rows, they all combine to make it very fiddly if it's unfamiliar territory. So I'm going to stick with it and keep a positive attitude and hopefully complete some more this evening because I really love the look of the cowl, the Cobbled Street cowl, and I love Crochet Along. What I also have to do is read up, Faye, who runs the Crochet Circle podcast group, has a great Ravelry page, and there's a forum for the Tunisian Crochet Along, and lots of people usually put tips and hints and any troubleshooting. So I'm going to go read those as well because that's always helpful because then I know I'm not alone. Hopefully someone else out there is finding this whole new thing tricky, a bit fiddly. I also am a very tight crocheter. I know the main tip that was given was crochet loosely, and it's just, I try. I'll try tonight with gin. That'll loosen me up a little bit. Ooh, then I'll get a beautiful cowl. Then I'll say I can only Tunisian cowl with a cocktail in my hand. So today is the first day of spring, and it is not feeling spring-like in the least. It is cold, rainy, very windy, and the type of chill that kind of gets to your bones. And I'm fed up. I want some spring. So a lot of times I do that through color. This is why everybody loves buying bunches of daffodils in the spring, so that when it's gray and wet and windy, you have pretty spring sunny colors. With that in mind, I'm kind of committing myself to the vintage granny cardie on the cover of last month's Simply Crochet magazine. I totally don't know when I'll do it at all. It's just so cute. It's so cute. So I wasn't going to do it because I don't have any time to do it and I have 1,000 other whips going on. Then I was rummaging through my stash, my yarn stash, and I realized I had a whole bunch of DMC Natura cotton, which is 4-ply, perfect for the cardigan. And I realized I would not really have to buy any yarn. I had everything. I've put together those colors. What do you think of that? I think I can make it work. And then instead of gray, I had a couple of balls of this, which is like it's a taupe, pale with a hint of a rosy tone to it. So it's not grayish, it's not gray, but I really like it. And so I just needed to buy, like, I think 2 more balls of that because I already had some of that in my stash as well. So I don't know, it costs like a $5 to do this whole cardigan. So there are the colors I've chosen. Oh, there's that lovely salmon color too. Yeah, when am I going to do that? The next color palette I want to show you is the latest mandala in Simply Crochet magazine. You know I'm doing the mandalas each month in the linen thread. And this month's mandala by Lucy Croft is really bright. Reds, oranges, yellows. I thought that's really nice and bright. And I love the simple design of that. But instead of copying those colors exactly, when I started looking at the list, they were rainbow colors. Not all of the rainbow colors, but I thought, well, if I substitute that pebble shade in the middle with a different color, then I could get the whole rainbow in there. So these are the linen threads. These are the new ones that I bought at Unravel from Namolio. See, that's how they come. Just a small thing of linen thread. But I got a bright yellow, I got an orange, a very bright blue. Oh, they're very bright. I thought if I combine it with the purple that I already have, and I think there's white in there somehow, somewhere, then I'll have a rainbow mandala. And that will hopefully end up on the wall, but more likely will end up in my youngest daughter's room, who is rainbow crazy. Would you like to see her room? So here's my youngest bedroom. This is the blind. It's just one of those slatted blinds. We got a bit bored with that, so took a couple rolls of washi tape in rainbow colors. Just taped along the slats, and there you go. Cost maybe a tenner for all that tape. And then next to that, we have no daylight. There's the crocheted cloud mobile with the rainbow. It's a silver linings cloud. And then the wall mural that I made. That took sample tester pots of paint and some card to do the butterfly cutouts and some blue tack to stick them on the wall. And I just went for it. I just painted a rainbow. When I realized I couldn't paint in a straight line, I just smudged the edges. I kind of blurred them all together. And then I used the bottom. I did a stencil-y cutout of the butterflies and had them flying away up the wall. This is one of those rare instances where something in your head actually translated into reality. Like that was exactly how I pictured this. And it cost next to nothing. That was the funnest bit. As you can see, I just decided to start smudging when I realized I couldn't paint a straight line. I just smudged. So there. That's little Violet's rainbow room. So what's in the hoop? Next week I'm going to show you the finished blouse that I was working on for my daughter, my eldest daughter, the little rose on the back shoulder. I'm nearly finished with that. I was going to show you this tutorials for simple stitches like the back stitch and stem stitch using the blouse as an example, but then I started thinking it'd be really nice if I could do something easy for beginners that you could make at home along with me, something similar to the beginners embroidery workshops I run. This is a doodle I did of some herbs. I do a herb embroidery, and I literally just doodled some flowers based on some herbs I grow in my garden because I have a big herb garden, and they all show the very basic stitches, but then when you're finished you have something pretty to show for it. So I thought if you'd like, you can join in with me as I start to do that. So I'll have a video tutorial linking up with this video where you can click and see how to get started, and each week I'll do a different flower with a different technique, and then by the end you'll have just a nice little bit of hoop art, or it's something you could just have on a bag or anywhere really. I just like teaching something where you actually have something to show for it afterwards. I don't just want to, here's a back stitch and you just go along in a back stitch, and then the next row here's a stem stitch, and then you just have a piece of fabric with a bunch of stitches on it. I actually think it'd be really pretty to show some flowers. So the back stitch is used for a stem, and the stem stitch is used for a curvy stem or a vine. Lazy daisy stitches for some flower petals. So that's just a lot more fun. I like having something to show for all of your efforts. So what you'll need to start for that is a hoop and some fabric and some embroidery threads. That's it. 6-inch embroidery hoop's probably fine. And then just a couple shades of embroidery thread. It could be up to you. I mean, that's the nice thing about embroidery is you get to choose your own colors. So even though I'm going to use kind of muted tones for a lot of the herbs and pretty different shades of green, nothing stopping you from using neon brights for everything. Or do everything in shades of cream and brown or a whole bunch of shades of pink. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to avoid saying 50 shades of gray because that's just nasty. To start off, get yourself some fabric and a hoop and some threads. Oh, and a needle would help too. And hopefully you'll stitch along with me. So that's all from me this week. Have a really good week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye! Thank you. Thanks for listening.